Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to grow your email list using pop-up forms using the tool Kit. So Kit is one of the most user-friendly email tools for creators like bloggers, newsletter writers, podcasters, and content creators in general. Also good to know, you can try Kit for free for 14 days using the link below, but there is also a great free plan, as you can see. For up to 10,000 subscribers, you can use Kit for free. And if you sign up for a paid Kit account using the link in the description below, I'll give you free access to Kit University, which is an online course I created for the ones that want to get the most out of Kit. It also includes a free ebook, 50 daily newsletter signups. So in this 12-page ebook, I explain the 3 steps I took and still take for my online dog training business that allowed me to surpass 50 daily newsletter signups. And there are some other goodies you can find in Kit University as well. So more details about this are in the description below. So first things first, you need a website to use a pop-up. So a pop-up form is a sign-up form that appears while someone is browsing your website. So like after a few seconds or when they scroll. So here we can see an example. So this is my Dutch dog training website. So if we go to our product pages over here, and if we wait for a couple of seconds, as you can see, a pop-up appears on the screen asking if they want a discount. Then if we click the button, yes please, they can enter their email address to receive the discount code. So obviously without a website, you can't add a pop-up form, right? Now, before we dive into creating a pop-up, let's quickly talk strategy. So how should you actually use a pop-up form? So for example, as you just saw, I'm currently testing pop-up forms on my dog training product pages, as you see. So this is a product page. And by the way, the tool I'm using for this specific sign-up form is called Klaviyo. So I'm currently testing Klaviyo. So I test many different marketing tools live on my own business, and I'm currently testing Klaviyo. But the reason I'm showing you this is because I want to explain something before we get started with sign-up forms, which is a really important part to understand before getting started with sign-up forms. So an interesting thing to note here, this pop-up form is related to this graph you see over here. And this line you see here is the submit rate, or in other words, the conversion rate. So as you can see, on some days it is really high, like 13%, like 36%. The average is 6.4%. But as you can see, on most days, it's like between 10 and 20%, right? But as you can see over here, it is only 1%. So 1 to 6%. And this is a really important thing to understand why this is before you get started with pop-up or sign-up forms on your own. So the reason, and I'm now going to explain it to you, the reason why this sign-up form performs so badly, basically, on these days and much better on these days is because I was showing the same pop-up everywhere on my website. So on all my blog posts and also on all product pages. And that doesn't work well. So you can see it over here. So if we enable the view option over here, you can see on average the sign-up form over here gets viewed only like 20 times per day, roughly. And over here the views were roughly between 200 and 400 views per day. So for example, this is my blog for the Dutch dog training business. And this blog is about potty training your puppy. So the people that are visiting this blog and reading this blog, they're not into the buying mode. They just want to learn more about potty training their puppy. But someone on my product pages, so this is my product page you see over here, they are already more interested in buying my books, right? And if we show a pop-up right now for the people that are browsing my product pages, the pop-up obviously would perform much better than if we were to show that same pop-up for a discount code for my books on the blog pages. So in other words, the moral of the story here, don't show one generic pop-up across your entire site. Match your pop-up to the content on the page on your website. So again, you need to think about the visitor on your website, someone that's browsing your product pages. what do they want? They most often want a discount code, right? The visitors that are browsing your website on information like how to potty train your puppy in this case, they aren't necessarily looking for a discount code. Instead, they're looking for information. So creating a pop-up form that is relevant for the ones that are looking for information on how to potty train your puppy is way more relevant than a discount code. That is why I integrated this landing page over here, for example. So download the free puppy schedule. That's what it's called. And if we click on that link, here they can enter their email address and download the puppy schedule. And just so you know, this blog post on how to potty train your puppy is converting at around 10% consistently because I created a relevant freebie, or however you want to call it, something people can download for free for these specific visitors on my website. So now we have that out of the way, let me show you how to create a pop-up form in Kit. And as you can see over here, sign-up forms or pop-ups are working really well. So as you can see over here, the number of total subscribers this specific form got in all time is 31,000. This one got 3,000. Here we got one for 7,000, 1,500, 600, 500, 3,000. So having a great pop-up or a great form definitely helps big time for growing your email list. So let's now jump into Kit and let me show you how to create a pop-up form. And again, if you don't have a Kit account yet, use my link in the description to sign up for a paid Kit account, and I'll give you free access to Kit University. So once you're logged in, you're going to click on Grow, and then we're going to go to Landing Pages and Forms. We're going to create a new form, and we're going to select form, and then we have to choose the model format. This is Kit's version of a pop-up, and then you have to select a template that fits your style. I'm going to go with the first one. I'm going to click on choose, and now we can customize our form. So we can edit the headline. So for example, let's say I'm giving away a free puppy socialization checklist. This could be my headline, pretty straightforward. We can tweak the button text to, for example, download now. We can tweak the colors. We can tweak the background image here. I'm going to click on replace. You can also remove the Kit logo on your sign-up forms by using the custom CSS option over here. If you click right mouse button here and go to the inspect tool, and here you can see the div class of that particular logo. I'm gonna copy that div class. I'm gonna go to ChatGPT. I'm gonna say hide with CSS, and then I'm gonna paste that div class in here. I'm gonna copy this CSS code. I'm gonna go back to Kit. I'm gonna close this inspect tool, and I'm gonna paste in the CSS code, and as you can see, the logo is now gone. You can also add another field over here. So let's say you want to ask for the first name. You're going to click the plus icon. And then over here for the custom field, you're going to select the first name. You can tweak the order. You can make it required if you want. And once you're happy with the design, we're first going to click on save just to make sure our form is saved now. And then we're going to go to the settings tab over here. And here's where you decide what happens after someone subscribes. Either you show a success message or you can redirect them to an external page. Either option is fine. Just pick one that works for you. This one is probably the easiest and quickest to set up. Next, we have display options, and now we have to decide when the pop-up should appear. So we have exit intent, and this one is only available for the desktop because it relies on detecting mouse movements when a user is about to leave the page, basically. Then it's gonna pop up. Then we have the scroll percentage, so when a user scrolls your page. And then lastly, we have timing. So for example, show it after 5 seconds, and this is the most commonly used, the timing pop-up. And here you also see a snippet that lets you trigger the pop-up with a link click. And here you can see an example, so your link text, if you click here, then a pop-up opens, as you can see. So that is this option over here, trigger the model with a link by copying the code below. For example, as I explained earlier, this is my potty training guide on how to potty train your dog. And if we scroll down a little bit here, I'll link to a free guide that people can download. So I could turn this link into a pop-up trigger using the code Kit provides. And you can add multiple of those links across your blog post. So for example, here I have another instance where I'll link to that specific guide people can download in return for leaving their email address. So if you want to do that, you're going to click on copy this code. You're going to go to your website, and here you're going to paste in that code. And over here, we have to add the Git script. So if we go back to Git, I'm going to click on save. And if I click on publish, over here, we see a script. We have to embed that on our website too. I'm going to click on copy. I'm going to go back to my website, and this is the code I just copied. And now if I click this link, the pop-up opens, as you can see. Then if we go back to settings, and just one thing to note, if you do want to use this trigger over here, make sure to add here a lot of seconds. So for example, I added 1,000 seconds because you don't want to trigger the pop-up earlier than when someone clicks the actual link. So make sure to add a lot of seconds here. Then the next thing is device targeting. So which devices should see this, and you can choose to show your pop-up on all devices or only desktop or mobile. And my tip here is to create two versions basically. So a mobile version and a desktop version. And that way you can tailor the layout and message for each device basically and track the performance as well separately. Then we have the visibility, and here you can decide how often someone should see the pop-up. So if you set it to 0, the pop-up will show every single time. So once your settings are good to go, you're going to click on save, and then you're going to hit publish. So as I mentioned previously, Git will give you a piece of code to embed on your website. You can either use the JavaScript code, but you can also use the HTML code. They also have a WordPress plugin if you want to use that. So you can add this code where you want the pop-up to run. Either you can use it site-wide or just on a specific page like I showed you over here. So let's say if we change the settings and we're going to go back to like 4 seconds, I'm going to click on save. I'm going to click on publish. I'm going to copy this code over here. I'm going to remove this code because this was the link trigger code. I'm going to remove that. I'm going to click on delete, and this is the code. I'm going to click on publish the website. I'm going to copy this link. I'm going to go to an incognito window. And now the pop-up should appear after a couple of seconds. And as you can see, now the pop-up appears. So just make sure you're going to go to an incognito window just to test it is working properly. If we refresh the page now, let's see if it pop-ups again. And as you can see, it pop-ups again. So as I mentioned here, if you go back to settings, if you switch this to 0 days, it will pop up again immediately after if they revisit your website. And that's it. You've created the pop-up form in Git and added it to your website. And before you go, make sure to watch this video where I go into more depth on how to grow your email list from scratch.